Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to What is up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Get Book Solid. I'm Sean Dill, the beautiful Lacey Book with us, and the ferocious Buddha himself, David Meltzer, getting up early, getting his exercise in. What did you do this morning? What do you do before you get ready to do a show?
Well, I meditated for 20 minutes and then did my climber for 30, stretch, balance, and a little bit of strength. And then had my protein bar before the interview, so I wasn't chomping away as well, and have my tea.
Awesome.
Look at that.
Tea is important. I know that one tip you gave us, Lacey never forgets it. And that is, if you lose your voice because you're doing a lot of speaking, doing a lot of shows, you do a lot of speaking all day long. You're talking to people, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on the internet, social media, or whether it's on a stage. And sometimes, I mean, and I especially, I can get going.
That, like,
I can
groggy,
I can lose my voice.
COVID voice. You get the
COVID voice, yeah.
You said eat potato chips. Is that the secret?
Yeah, that's what I was taught by Scott Duffy, who actually was there the first time I ever met you guys when I was hired to speak in Indianapolis. And Scott Duffy gave me the advice. He had seen me doing these endless amount of speeches, and he could hear that COVID voice 13 years ago. And he's like, Dave, Lay's potato chips, plain potato chips, greasy, salty potato chips will reinvigorate your voice. And it's worked for me. And ironically, several other speakers that I've talked to have known this secret. So anyone out there, give it a try. It's not good for your belly, but it's good for your voice.
Huh. That's wild.
I want to get in early where we're going to be, because some people might drop off by the end. Only the hardcore people stay all the way to the bitter end. We have a lot of stuff going on. I was looking at our calendar, and man, we're going to see each other in Nashville next Wednesday. You have a super special. Speaking of speaking, you're doing a speaker series. Tell us a little bit about that. What's going down in Nashville?
I think the bigger lesson of this speaker series is that it's not a speaker series. So one of my employees decided that they would go ahead and name it a speaker series. It's just a content I'm very templated. So in this idea of get book solid, you have to have a scalable model. And I don't run a speaker series. I have a content mastermind, and then we're doing a charitable luau with Landon Derrickson afterwards with Michael Chandler and James Maslow, Dr. Lacey Book, and of course, Dr. Sean Dill, and many, many more. But it's just my normal content mastermind. It's the same thing we're doing on September 10th. And September 11th together, one at SoFi Stadium, the other at the Palazzo. So I want to be really clear. I was not happy when I saw my employees send out an email that said speaker series.
Oh my goodness.
So I just think there's a lesson in it. You have to brand yourself, and you will confuse people if you are not scaling and templating what you do.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, don't miss David Meltzer's debut of his speaker series coming up next.
I got him for you, Dave. I gave him a little smack.
No, he's cool. He's cool. What he doesn't know is that I believe in infinite time. So he's always waiting for the short-term revenge, and it's never going to come. It's going to hit him so hard, Lacey, so hard, and he's not going to like it one bit. He may be 85 when I pull the plug on him or do whatever. I'm going to play with his privates. I don't know what I'm going to do, but he is so silly thinking that he's going to get instant revenge from me. I'm an infinite time being. And so my revenge is well thought out and very, very harsh.
I love it.
Very, very harsh. Well, I can't wait to see you next Wednesday, Nashville. And then, as David said, September 10th, we're going to be at SoFi. September 11th, we're going to be at the Venetian in Las Vegas. Content masterminds. We're going to teach you how to objectify and amplify your content. So whether you are working to get your message out on social media, whether you have a podcast, or even if you are still going around doing networking one-to-many, or even still sitting down with somebody for a coffee, one-to-one, content still reigns supreme. And we want to help you. We're bringing in fantastic people, experts of all walks of life, who are going to be able to help you to amplify your voice and get your message out to the people. All you have to do is hit up david@dmeltzer.com or Sean at Book Yourself Solid, not Get Booked. Sean at bookyourselfsolid.com. Reach out to either of us. We'll be able to give you information on how you can get involved either at Nashville or at SoFi Stadium September 10th or at the Venetian Las Vegas September 11th. And listen, that is UFC Sphere Week. So there's going to be all kinds of amazing people coming into Las Vegas. It's going to be a tremendous time. And we're doing something new. So the template does have a slight tweak, although it's not a speaker series. We're going to be doing a VIP lunch in Las Vegas rather than a VIP dinner.
Love that.
That way we can roll right from a morning of content conversations and move right into fellowship, networking, breaking bread together over a meal. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Are you sure about that?
Stop in for lunch.
I don't think that's right. I just have to tell you. I think we're doing a dinner. Just to tell you. Yeah, because let's just make sure we come back to everyone next week because we have time because September.
Yeah, next week we'll say something else. Next week.
So we're gonna do some kind of VIP meal, but I think it's a VIP dinner. Once again, with this team of mine, we're communicating effectively with my favorite friends, or maybe it's just revenge. It's kind of coming to a costume party where in fact, let's just put it out there. We are having a VIP costume party lunch. Sean, wear your favorite costume to lunch while Lacey and I are doing other things together with Julie. You have a great time.
I like this marketing though. We're hosting a VIP meal. We can just start
exactly
VIP meal. We don't know what, but it will be a meal and it will be delicious and you will enjoy it tremendously.
Oh, well, it's experiential business development and post-production content that you get from everything that we do, whether it's a VIP lunch, dinner, meal, or Halloween circus fiesta. You will have a great experience with amazing people like my two friends, and also get the business development, which gives a quantitative value, and of course, post-production content in teaching you how we do it while we're doing it, which makes it so exciting and unique, and it brings value. And that's why I do them, to hang out with my friends and teach other people how they can hang out with their friends as well.
Well, awesome. Today, we are talking about specifically amplifying your voice. And I know that you don't have a speaker series, but we are talking to a speaker's coach, a person that helps, but not just people that want to speak. So this is important. Like right now, we're all speaking. And so our ability to utilize our voice as an instrument to convey a story, to inspire, and to bring a message to the people that we were meant to serve is key to getting booked solid. And so I thought it would be tremendous if we spoke to Paul Rakowitz this morning and got some tips, and heck, he might even be able to help the three of us to amplify our message. We might pick up a little nugget that we'll be able to utilize. Let's bring in Paul Rakowitz. Welcome to Get Booked Solid.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Good. I got to be careful not to say anything to get on Dave's bad side so that when I'm 85, I have a problem. I don't want that.
No, see, that infinite threat is very, very challenging.
It's powerful.
Go
Go ahead.
I got them flustered, Paul. Don't worry.
I know. It threw us off our game a little bit.
Infinite
Gotta be
threat.
careful.
It's the infinite threat part. Hey, you know what we need to here? I'm just going to say this. We need a sponsor, because nothing would be better than to get up early in the morning, be able to laugh and have a great time with good friends and get paid to do it. That would just be like the cherry on top. But we just have to find a sponsor. Maybe we can get.
Maybe we should ask for one, and then we could get one.
Yeah, let's ask for one.
It's one of the things I teach.
Okay, if you want to sponsor the show, whether you got flip flops or organic juice, whatever it is, reach out to us.
Popsicles would be good.
You can get us
Justin Wines. Collar and Company likes you as well. I have like 6 companies that love Sean Dill, but I've not told him because I'm waiting for the infinite time to get a sponsor for the show.
So Paul, I'm gonna bring these two back full circle. We're talking about messaging and being able to amplify your voice. And I think a lot of people out there, when they hear a speaking coach or a speaker's coach, they probably have an idea in their head of what they think that means. But why don't you tell everybody listening out there what that actually means and what you do with your clients?
Sure, that's a good question. And one of the things that we say is all speaking is public speaking. So if you're talking to a single individual, you're public speaking. So the first thing to do is get out of your head that just going on stage is where I would then need speaking coaching, because that's not it. The other thing that we talk about when we talk about vocal coaching is a lot of times people connect that to acting versus performance. There's a big difference between learning to act and actually learning to perform. And in the vocal coaching I do, I stay away from trying to teach you how to act like someone else. And the goal is to help you perform so that you can express what's inside of you through the words that you're sharing. So there's a really fine line of distinction there. And a lot of times coaching for like public speaking, it is more acting. At this point in your speaking, you're going to come here, move your hands like this and do this or that. But it's much better if we learn to connect with ourselves inside and get the emotions that we're feeling infused into the words we're saying in every situation. And that becomes then a much different kind of vocal coaching.
Vocal coaching, I think, so that's a very important distinction. Vocal coaching then applies in every situation, whether you're talking to your spouse, talking to a prospect, making a sales call, talking on the phone. What are some of the common faults? One of the things I love about golf is that there's not a lot of things that you can do wrong. Now, there's a lot of ways that can be expressed, but there's not a lot of things that you could do wrong. When it comes to vocal faults, what are some of the common faults that can result in all kinds of wild repercussions when we're communicating?
Yeah, so we list our top 10 problems that people have when they're speaking. And then I actually created a little 30-second ad for each of those. And those are the ads we run that help people connect with their need. Some of those include, just say, I use a lot of filler words. That interferes with the listener's ability to hear me because I'm just keep throwing filler words in there to throw them off. Or we have people who have issues with, say, stuttering, or they can't say the letter R or different things like that. Those are real problems that people have. Another thing is a lot of people that come to me, it's because they're really bright, they're really smart, they know what they're doing. But when they're in a situation where there's a little bit of pressure, their mind doesn't get those words out that they have inside their head. So that's a real problem. I don't know exactly what we call that other than like a result of anxiety, nervousness. So we fix that too. Another thing a lot of people struggle with is they will often be asked, can you repeat that? Because whoever's listening doesn't really understand what they said. And that's either because they can't understand the words or they don't know the intention in the words. It's not clear. I had a gentleman from Ghana, Africa. He's been here a year, and he joined a discovery call. And the first thing he said is, I need you to fix my accent. And my very next response was, okay, well, I can help you, but I'm not going to fix your accent because this is who you are. But we are going to make it so that when you speak, everyone will understand you, even though you have your accent. And we solved that for him. He came back, we did his first lesson. He came back a week later, you smile. And I said, well, you're smiling. And he says, not one person asked me to repeat myself. And his was a real powerful story because I asked him in the discovery call, well, what's it do to you when people are always asking you to repeat yourself? And he said this phrase that I now use all the time. He said, it makes me mute myself. Just hits the mute button, shuts down, and becomes depressed. So vocal coaching, there are technical things that we're going to teach you how to connect your mind and body through your voice, and that's important. But even more important is the mental aspects of vocal coaching, because it's going to free you to share yourself with the world. And anybody who can't do that is stunted in some way, and they need help, and we need to help them.
In vocal context, vibration and frequency are really important. And that confidence and comfortability only comes from practice, which is why coaches like you are essential to everyone, no matter what level you feel your vocal capabilities are. But I don't think a lot of vocal coaches realize, even in the context of what you're talking about, we make people feel a certain way, and vibration and frequency are truly the catalyst for feeling a certain way. That's why certain songs will evoke emotions, memories, and to that end, do you coach frequency, vibration as well, or even elevate the awareness to how important it is of how we make people feel through the vibration of our own voices?
We do. And the way I like to talk about that is we often think of our voice being received by someone through the ears. And so we say it's our sound. But what we're teaching is our voice actually is this vibration that's occurring. So we teach a source filter model. We need to build a solid source through the air, and then we need to make all these filters work in the right way so we create the vibrations that are intended. And when we do that, it's not only that they hear us, but they literally feel the vibrations of our words. And that makes all the difference. That's what makes people hear us. I had a client recently sign up, and they talk like this. And so there's no vibration coming from their mouth at all. There's no sound. And we're literally just working on opening their mouth when they speak. And I saw him yesterday. It's his third lesson. Nobody's asking him to repeat himself anymore. Changes his whole mental image of who he is and what he can share with the world. It's a really powerful thing, this notion of vibration and what our voice really does to our listener.
So I think a lot of people, Paul, might have a little bit of fear at this point, because I think you make a really compelling case. Everybody who wants to communicate better can benefit from your services. But then, you're giving some examples like, oh, I'm going to open my mouth, or like, so what does it look like? What is vocal coaching like? So do I just talk to you and then you're like,
you listen,
lower your voice?
yeah.
How do these lessons work, and how can somebody actually improve?
Great question. And it's hard to imagine what vocal coaching is. And I can share what I do to help people, which is in our first lesson, we're going to do two things. Almost every first lesson is the same. Our coaching is tailored to each individual, but before we can get very far, we've got to start with the basics. So in the first lesson, we're always going to teach proper breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, which doesn't come from here. When I breathe in, I should be doing nothing here. Air should just come into my lungs. So we're going to teach proper breathing so we have the right source. And then the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through one time, we're going to go through the vocal warm-ups, the vocal exercises that they're going to get. And in those vocal exercises, we're going to start to talk about what the filters are. Now, the vocal exercises are designed specifically to touch all the filters. So the person doing them doesn't have to know all of that. But as they do the exercises, we're going to have them exaggerate all of their expressions. So we're going to start with goog, and people say goog like Google. They say Google. Okay, there's no R-O sound there at all, but we're going to force them to exaggerate that, the lips in that case, Google. Well, when you exaggerate the lips, Google, and actually open them a little bit, Google, well, other things are happening that we'll point out with the tongue and things like that. So you get into all of those things and they start to realize there's a lot going on. Or we say the letter S versus the letter T. Both of them are right up at the high point of the hard palate, but one is touching, one isn't. And all we do is we open their mind to the reality that there's a lot of things going on with the filters of the lips, the mouth, the jaw, the back of the tongue. And just opening their mind to that then engages them to say, okay, I'm going to do these vocal warm-ups. And as they do that, then all the magic happens. So there is that very technical aspect, but there's also the perception issue, which is I'll ask someone, this is my favorite story, talking to someone and they use a lot of filler words. And so in our conversation, I suggest that one thing they might be able to improve on is less filler words. And their answer to me was, I don't use any filler words. That was their answer. And I asked them, did you just hear filler words in what you said? And they said, no.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the perception. We have to break the brain of the patterns that they're so used to that they don't realize what's happening. And so we get exponential growth. Week 1 to week 2, they're so much different. And by the time we're done, it's like they're different people. Not different, but better, not better, but who they really are meant to be. And all of that's because of the way we can break their brain. And so they can perceive something quickly that they couldn't for years. And that just lets them grow beyond what they thought was possible.
Yeah, I got to say, Paul, I had one session of vocal coaching like very early on in my career, and it made such a massive impact in my ability to amplify my message. And it's pretty amazing to me for everybody listening. It can just be one thing, one tweak that can make all the difference in the audience's or the person in front of you's ability to actually hear what you're saying. I was a very like nasally speaker, I guess you would say, when you were talking about the diaphragmatic breathing. I definitely always breathe through my nose. And so my pitch and my tone were really high, which makes it difficult for people to listen to for long periods of time. And by just changing how I breathe, I was able to get my message further. And so I can imagine with your clients that just making small changes can make huge impact in their ability to speak in front of others. And so I love this.
Dave, did you learn anything?
Always. It won't be worth it if I didn't. I was just thinking about Einstein as usual, and how he said it's not the notes that make the music, it's the space between the notes.
Yep.
And there's a lot to be said about those fillers and just allowing the space to exist, as well as in that space, our reactions to our voices. And so one of the things is, for example, when you said, this is my favorite story, Lacey and I lit up and smiled, and, you know, the death stare over there, no reaction at all. So he lives in the empty space, which is a powerful way to verbalize, but it also is part of vocalization to listen. And those fillers don't allow you to listen for what the audience or the other person is responding with. And those feelings are essential as well. So the takeaway is one in which is a major practice of mine, utilizing my voice as well as the space between my voice in order to facilitate a connection of understanding. Appreciation is actually created through that space, which is we're adding value to one another. And a lot of times we're just separating and searching for some sort of an agreement that will never occur. So really powerful. I highly suggest anyone, not just speakers, but anyone, it is in your family, business, an essential tool that has a quantitative value that is exponential. And it's great to know that you're there, Paul. I'll be sending a lot of business to you beyond speakers. There's a lot of people. Another one of those fillers that I find is a lot of people say right. They'll say right like 100 times, and they won't know they said the word right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great commentary. And I love that space that you talked about. And it impacts the listener, but it impacts the speaker too. It's really powerful to the speaker to have that space. And just, Sean, one thing I would say is when I talk about vocal coaching, there's 3 areas that they're going to get trained in. They're going to gain vocal mastery. They're going to overcome vocal pitfalls. And they're going to master their nonverbals. And if they do those 3 things, they won't need to learn to act. They'll be able to perform, not like you or you or you or me, but like them. And they'll be an individual that expresses themselves just as beautifully as they possibly can without even trying.
Well, Paul, real quick, how can people get a hold of you if they want all of that and more in their life?
Sure. prvocalcoaching.com. I often say it, prvocalcoaching.com to make it happy.
Innuendos.
Our vocal coaching, Paul Rakowitz, PR, vocalcoaching.com.
prvocalcoaching.com.
Rack it up with Rakovich.
Paul, thank you so much for being with us. I hope that people will reach out to you. The people in the comments loving today's content. So, Paul, thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure watching you guys and learning from all of you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Hey, before we jump off, I want to let everybody know that tonight, Dave, you need to tell your fans all day today about this. Lacey is hosting an abundance masterclass tonight. The Abundance Blueprint, Overcoming Limiting Beliefs and Mastering Your Finances. It's absolutely free. Jump on that with Lacey. Hit that QR code. It's going to be an amazing, amazing masterclass. So many people request that from her. And so we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to jump on that. And hey, if you're not in our free group, get Book Solid. If you love this show, well, get it 7 days a week. I mean, not the show, but the community, the vibe, the frequency. Join our free group on Facebook. Make sure that you get in there. We would love to have you. We promise you we'll make you feel right at home. And Dave, guess what I'm thinking? I'm going to start an observation coaching business. Nobody does that.
That would be an interesting business. I would like to see the model. So excellent. Very good. I will also talk about Lacey. And one of the things when we talk about the only limitations in your future is your own self-image. And that self-image, Lacey is one of the best that I know of helping people understand where they are today and what's limiting you. And if you're someone that feels if you're stuck, you know you have way more potential than you've realized, it's well worth your time to join that masterclass tonight. It is one of the most conflictual things in people's lives is their own self-image, and Lacey's an expert at communicating that in such a supportive and nurturing way, unlike some people I know. But more importantly, please put it up there, James, one more time. Put that up there. Yeah. So overcome those limiting beliefs. It's the only thing, your self-image, that's limiting you and the meaning of your past. And if you apply it to your finances, you might just find Lacey Book has written the book, even greater than Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Think and Grow Rich, Abundance Blueprint Masterclass. I highly suggest it. What time is it tonight, Lacey?
7:30 Eastern time. Live. It's actually live just like this, 7:30 Eastern time. Lacey's going live right here in Naples, Florida for an hour or so, teaching people how to overcome their limiting beliefs and inviting abundance. And one of the things I love, one of Lacey's words is overflow. So not just abundance, but overflow into your life. We don't want just to be, oh, we have an abundance, but we want actual overflow, because as you know, Dave, that's what allows us to give. We can't just have abundance. We have to have overflow so that we have more than enough so that we can be giving to others. Learn that from you.
That's actually the definition of wealth. There's a difference, right? Being rich has nothing to do with wealth. Wealth is actually a state of overflow where the assets that you have support the lifestyle that you are creating. And so as long as there's overflow, meaning more than enough that you have each day from the assets that you have, it is that overflow that allows you to have more than enough and create the infinite loop. So as always, I appreciate your patience in allowing me to get new internet. I'm off of the dial-up service. I have actual fiber. We didn't get kicked off.
Not
we
at
have
all.
more energy than ever. Come and join us, please, everyone. We're going to be all over the place. I'll be at SoFi today doing a mastermind. We'll be back September 10th and September 11th in Vegas. And I will be missing you. Today's Miles' first day of school. His first golf tournament is Sunday, and Julie's birthday is Sunday. But we know some people have better offers. And so hidden joke, but more importantly, we love you, and I will celebrate on your behalf. We're filming 2-Minute Drill Monday and Tuesday right after Julie's birthday, the second half. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate both of you.
Have a fantastic day. See you guys next week. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to